Time to connect the dots when we make the news make sense. We talk about it every day. Health experts saying that masks are our best tool in fighting this pandemic, but now we're learning they could also be saving our economy.
The use of masks during this global pandemic has become a hot button issue, but a new report puts the debate in stark economic terms. Let's connect the dots. Research has shown that areas that do not impose a mask mandate see more COVID-19 infections and deaths. Here's how that affects our economy. With a surge of cases in parts of the country, many states are having to roll back reopening plans. A team of economists at Goldman Sachs crunched the numbers and are projecting those lockdowns will cost 5% of the gross domestic product. That translates to about $1 trillion. They also calculated the rate of spread with and without a face mask mandate. The researchers estimate that without a nationwide face mask order, the daily growth rate is 10% higher than if there were a mandate. A Johns Hopkins epidemiologist cautioned in the Washington Post that it's hard to make a straight connection between mask orders and infection rates because of other steps leaders take that could affect the numbers. But she does say her research has found that masks are an important component to stopping the pandemic. And that is connecting the dots.